I'm Beverly. Standing here in the police station, my legs feel like jelly, and my heart is still pounding. Just a few minutes ago, I was in an Uber, and a terrifying situation unfolded before my eyes. The Uber driver, Mr. Thompson, handed me his phone without a word. On the screen, in big capital letters, it said, "You're in danger. Play along. Don't react." Before I could even process what I was reading, all four doors of the car locked simultaneously. Mr. Thompson looked at me in the rearview mirror with the most serious expression I've ever seen and simply said, "Trust me. Let me take you back to how this all started. I'm a 28-year-old graphic designer working for a well-known advertising agency in Seattle. I live in a cozy apartment in the suburbs, about 30 minutes from downtown. My younger brother Ethan is a college student in Portland. We don't talk as often as we should, but when we do, it's usually about his college life and my work stress. My parents, Jack and Linda, are both retired. Dad was a mechanic, and Mom was a schoolteacher. They live in a small town outside Seattle, and they always worry about me living alone in the city. It was a Saturday night around 10:30. I had just finished a late-night project at the office. The project had been a real headache, with tight deadlines and high-pressure clients. I was completely exhausted. All I wanted was to get home, take a hot bath, and collapse into my bed. I was too tired to drive, so I pulled out my phone, opened the Lyft app, and requested a ride. Downtown Seattle on a Saturday night is a vibrant place. There were people everywhere, music blaring from the clubs, and groups of friends having a great time. I stood under a neon sign, scrolling through my phone, answering a few work-related emails. Everything seemed normal, and I didn't have a single inkling that danger was lurking. My Lyft app showed that my driver, Mr. Thompson, was 4 minutes away in a silver Honda Accord. I'd taken Lyft rides countless times before, so I didn't think twice about it. When the silver Accord pulled up to the curb, I checked the license plate against what the app showed me, just like I always do. It matched, so I opened the back door and slid into the seat. "Are you Beverly?" the driver asked, turning slightly to look at me. "Yes, that's me," I replied, pulling the seatbelt across my chest and clicking it in. Mr. Thompson was in his late 50s, a white man with a bald head and kind blue eyes. He wore a simple polo shirt and had a small cross hanging from his rear view mirror. He seemed like just another regular Lyft driver doing his job on a Saturday night. He pulled away from the curb smoothly and merged into the traffic on Pike Street. "Long night at work?" he asked. It was the typical small talk that Lyft drivers make. "Yeah, really long. I'm looking forward to getting home and getting some rest," I said. "I hear you," he replied with a small smile. "It's always like this in the city, isn't it?" We drove in silence for a few minutes. I leaned back in my seat, closing my eyes, trying to relax. But then, I noticed something strange. Mr. Thompson kept looking in the rear view mirror, not at me, but at something behind us. His eyes would quickly glance up to the mirror, stay there for a couple of seconds, and then go back to the road. His jaw was clenched, and his hands were gripping the steering wheel tightly. I felt a little twinge of anxiety in my stomach, but I told myself I was just being paranoid. I turned slightly in my seat and looked out the back window. There was a black BMW a few cars behind us, but the streets were busy, so it didn't seem that unusual. Many cars were going in the same direction. Then, Mr. Thompson made a sudden left turn that definitely wasn't part of the route. My phone buzzed with a notification from the Lyft app saying we were taking a different way and it would add 4 minutes to my trip. Drivers do that sometimes to avoid traffic, so I didn't think too much about it. But something just felt off. That's when Mr. Thompson reached back over his shoulder without saying a word and handed me his phone. The screen was already unlocked and open to his notes app. The message there made my blood run cold. "You're in danger. Play along. Don't react. I stared at those words, my hands shaking. Was this real? Was he threatening me? Or was it some sick joke? I looked up and met his eyes in the rear view mirror. The look on his face told me this was serious. Then, I heard the sound of all four doors locking. Trust me, Mr. Thompson said quietly, his voice calm but urgent. Act normal. Look at your phone and laugh like I just said something funny. Every instinct in my body was telling me to panic, to demand he unlock the doors, and to call 911. But there was something in his voice, something in his eyes that made me stop. Against all logic, I forced myself to look down at my phone and let out a fake laugh. My hands were shaking so badly that I could barely hold the phone. Good, Mr. Thompson said, keeping his voice low. Now, listen carefully. There's a black BMW that's been following us since you got in the car. When you got in, a man in the passenger seat of that BMW took a picture of my license plate. They've been staying exactly 3 cars behind us for the past 10 minutes. Every turn I make, they make the same turn. My stomach dropped. I wanted to turn around and look at the BMW, but Mr. Thompson spoke again. Don't look back. Keep your eyes on your phone. Act like you're texting someone. He made another turn onto a quiet residential street. I'm a retired detective. I worked for the Seattle PD for 25 years. I know when someone is being followed, and this is not just random traffic. Someone is following you, Beverly, and they've been following you since before you even got in my car. My mouth went dry. Why would anyone be following me? I don't understand, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Mr. Thompson kept his eyes on the road and the rear view mirror. I don't know why, but I know what I'm seeing. It's not a coincidence. When you requested the ride, where exactly were you standing? I tried to think back through the fog of panic. Outside the office building under a neon sign on Pike Street. I was alone. Mr. Thompson nodded slowly, as if that confirmed something he'd been thinking. Were your co-workers with you or had they already left? I thought for a second. They'd already left. I was alone waiting for you. He made another turn onto an even quieter street. Through the back window, I could see the black BMW make the exact same turn, keeping the same distance behind us. My heart was pounding so hard that I could hear it in my ears. Here's what I noticed, Mr. Thompson said, his voice steady. The black BMW pulled up to the curb about 40 seconds after I did. I noticed because they stopped in a no parking zone right behind my car. I thought maybe they were another Lyft waiting for their passenger, but they didn't pick anyone up. They just sat there with their engine running. The second you got in my car and I pulled away, they pulled out and started following. I felt like I was going to be sick. Someone had been watching me, waiting for me, planning something. What do they want? What are they going to do? I asked, my voice trembling. Mr. Thompson glanced at me in the mirror. I don't know their intentions, but if someone is following you this deliberately, taking photos of the car you're in, and matching every turn I make, they have a plan. And that plan probably involves knowing where you're going. My mind suddenly clicked on something terrifying. My address. My home address is in the Lyft app. They could see where I was going. Mr. Thompson nodded. Exactly. That's why I'm not taking you there. If they know where you live, that's the last place you want to be right now. I'm taking you straight to the police station on 5th Avenue. It's public, well lit, and full of police officers. If they're really following you, they'll either back off when they realize where we're going, or we'll have plenty of witnesses and help. He made another quick turn, and I saw the BMW's headlights follow. Should I call 911 right now? I asked, reaching for my phone with shaking hands. Not yet, Mr. Thompson said firmly. If you make that call and they're watching us closely, they might realize we're on to them. They might panic and do something dangerous while we're still on these quiet streets. Let's get closer to the station first. We're about 6 minutes away. I nodded, even though my whole world felt like it was spinning out of control. Who would follow me? I was just an ordinary graphic designer. I wasn't involved in anything dangerous or illegal. I didn't have any enemies. This had to be some kind of mistake. But then, a memory hit me like a punch in the gut. A month ago, I'd gone on 2 dates with a guy I met on a dating app called Hinge. His name was Darren. The first date was nice. We went to a coffee shop, talked about our hobbies and interests. It was a pleasant conversation. I agreed to a second date. But the second date was different. Darren asked so many personal questions. He wanted to know where I lived, what time I usually got home from work, and which gym I went to. At the time, I felt uncomfortable, but I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe he was just trying to get to know me better. When he asked for a third date, I politely told him I didn't think we were a good match. He seemed okay with it, just said, "No problem. Thanks for being honest." And I hadn't heard from him since. I thought it was over. But what if he hadn't moved on? What if he'd been watching me this whole time? "Mr. Thompson," I said, my voice cracking. "I think I might know who it is." Mr. Thompson's eyes locked onto mine in the rear view mirror, and his whole expression became intense. "Tell me everything right now. Don't leave anything out." I took a deep, shaky breath and started explaining. A month ago, I went on 2 dates with a guy named Darren on Hinge. The first date was normal, just chatting over coffee. But the second date was off. He asked so many personal questions about my life. When he asked for a third date, I said no. I thought it was over, but about a week ago, I thought I saw his car near my office building. I told myself I was being paranoid, but now I'm not so sure. Mr. Thompson's jaw tightened, and he made another quick turn. The black BMW followed. "That's not paranoia, Beverly. That's your instincts trying to tell you something was wrong. Did you ever give him your home address directly?" I shook my head. "No, never. I met him at the coffee shop both times. But my workplace is on my LinkedIn profile. He could have looked that up and followed me to figure out where I live." The reality of what I was saying hit me hard. This guy had probably been watching me for weeks, learning my schedule, waiting for the right moment. And tonight, when he saw me alone outside the office, he must have thought it was his chance. "Okay, here's what we're doing, Mr. Thompson said, his voice authoritative. "I'm calling this in right now." He pulled his own phone out of a holder attached to his dashboard and used the car's Bluetooth system to make a call. Within 2 rings, someone answered. "This is Henry Thompson, retired Seattle PD, badge number 5286. I need immediate assistance at the 5th Avenue Police Station. I'm currently driving a silver Honda Accord, license plate ABC 789, and I'm transporting a passenger who I believe is being actively stalked. We're being followed by a black BMW. I can't make out the full license plate from this distance, but I can confirm it's been tailing us for approximately 16 minutes now through multiple turns. This is not random traffic. ETA to the station is 3 minutes." The dispatcher's voice came through the car speakers, calm and professional. "Copy that, Mr. Thompson. I'm notifying officers at the 5th Avenue station right now. Are you or your passenger in immediate physical danger at this moment?" Mr. Thompson glanced in the rear view mirror at the BMW still following us. "Not immediate danger, but the situation is escalating. The subject has maintained visual contact and is matching our route exactly. We need officers ready when we arrive." The dispatcher responded quickly. "Understood. Officers will be waiting at the main entrance. Proceed directly to the station and do not stop for any reason." Mr. Thompson ended the call and looked at me in the mirror again. Beverly, I need you to do something important right now. Text someone you trust. Your brother, your parents, a close friend. Tell them exactly what's happening and where you are. If something goes wrong, I want someone to know your situation immediately. My hands were shaking so badly that I could barely unlock my phone, but I managed to open my messages and pull up my conversation with Ethan. I typed as fast as my trembling fingers would let me. Ethan, something bad is happening. I'm in a lift heading to the 5th Avenue police station. Someone is following me in a black BMW. My driver is a retired cop and he's helping me. If you don't hear from me in 20 minutes, call the police. I love you. I hit send and watched the message show as delivered. Within seconds, I saw the 3 dots appear, showing Ethan was typing. Then my phone started ringing with his name flashing on the screen. I answered and put it on speaker. Ethan, I'm okay right now. I'm safe. I'm with a Lyft driver named Mr. Thompson who used to be a police officer, and he's taking me straight to the police station. Ethan's voice came through panicked. Beverly, what the hell is going on? Who's following you? Are you safe? Mr. Thompson spoke up before I could answer. Sir, this is Henry Thompson. Your sister is completely safe with me. We have strong reason to believe she's being followed by someone in a black BMW, possibly someone she knows. I'm taking her directly to the police station where officers are already being notified and will be waiting for us. She's going to be fine. I could hear Ethan's roommate in the background asking what was wrong. Ethan, just stay on the phone with me, okay? Don't hang up. We turned on to 5th Avenue, and I could see the police station up ahead. It was all lit up, looking bright and safe. There were 2 patrol cars parked right out front with their lights on, and I could see at least 3 officers standing by the main entrance waiting for us. The sight of them made me want to cry with relief. The black BMW was still behind us, still following. Mr. Thompson pulled into the police station parking lot and drove right up to the front entrance where the officers were standing. He stopped the car directly under the brightest lights. For a moment, everything seemed to move in slow motion. The black BMW slowed down as it passed the police station. And that's when I finally got a clear look at the driver's face. It was Darren. His eyes met mine through the window, and in that brief moment, I saw anger and entitlement in his expression. Then he pressed on the gas and sped away down the street. My voice came out as a whisper. That was him. That was Darren. Mr. Thompson was already out of the car before I could even process what had just happened. He was talking to the officers, pointing down the street in the direction Darren had driven, giving them a description of the vehicle. One of the officers immediately got on his radio, and I could hear him calling in the information. Black BMW heading north on 5th Avenue, possible stalking suspect, requesting units to locate and stop the vehicle. Another officer, a young man in his 20s, walked over to my door and opened it gently. Ma'am, I'm Officer Reed. You're safe now. Can you step out of the vehicle and come inside with me, please? My legs felt like they were made of rubber when I stood up. Ethan was still on the phone, and I could hear him yelling questions, asking if I was okay. Ethan, I'm fine. I'm with the police now. I'll call you back in a few minutes. I promise. I hung up, even though he was protesting, because I needed to focus on what was happening. Officer Reed led me inside the police station and into a small room with a table and a few chairs. It looked exactly like the interrogation rooms you see on TV shows. Mr. Thompson came in with us, along with a detective who introduced himself as Detective Harris. He was in his 40s, with a serious face but kind eyes. Ms. Beverly, I know this has been a terrifying experience, but I need you to tell me everything you know about the person who was following you. Take your time and don't leave anything out, no matter how small it seems. I went through the whole story again. How I'd met Darren on Hinge a month ago, the 2 dates we'd gone on, how the second date had felt wrong because of all his invasive questions, how I'd declined a third date and he'd seemed to accept it. I pulled out my phone and showed Detective Harris our entire text conversation on the app. I gave him Darren's full name, Darren Miller, and his phone number that was saved in my phone. I described the coffee shop where we'd met. I told him about possibly seeing Darren's car near my office building in the weeks after I'd ended things, but how I'd convinced myself I was being paranoid. Mr. Thompson added his account of everything he'd observed, the timeline of when the black BMW appeared, how it had followed us through multiple turns, how the passenger had taken a photo of his license plate, how deliberate and calculated the whole thing seemed.